Marguerite Willis was the first gubernatorial candidate in South Carolina to choose a running mate for lieutenant governor, and that person is State Senator John Scott. In this special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Senator Scott one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Scott.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great here, my man.
Well, good to be in Charleston.
Yes, sir. We welcome you here.
Yeah, I'm glad. Good. I had a great day today, too.
And I know you guys had a good night from what I understand.
Yes, I was in Orangeburg, and they were here in Charleston, so we've been kind of split up, going in different directions and talking to as many people as we can about the excitement of Marguerite Willis for governor and John Scott for lieutenant governor. And looking at some of the issues in South Carolina that a lot of people take for granted, and there are a lot of people in South Carolina, especially before and even after the recession, poverty has really grown in South Carolina. Major issues that has eroded from that is our education system, jobs, economic development, health care, issues that if you're doing well, you don't think about it. But if you're not doing well, it's an everyday concern. How do we make those issues better? When I was asked by Marguerite Willis to run, Marguerite Willis and what her life had been all about and the work she's been doing has been those particular issues. Also in looking at women's issues. Probably in Richland County, I probably have more female judges than anybody else.
Right.
My concern has always been equal pay, equity in the workplace for both for the females as well. Being able to have paid leave, of course, when they go on maternity leave, when their kids are sick, and how can we help females even to increase in terms of building business, which also help us with our economic development as well. Marguerite Willis, who is probably, not probably, she is one of the #1 attorneys in the country, well respected. She is partner in a major law firm in Columbia. She is just a dynamite lady to work with. Her concern is about big issues, and that's where I've spent most of the 30 years I've been as a public official, and looking at big issues and how we solve and how we improve the state. Of course, you remember up until about 2001, we finally got a state-run lottery and
Right.
try to start educating our children in the state. As we look at K through 12 and what's going on with that, and the big fight we just came off of and putting on the ballot whether or not the general public want to elect or to allow the governor to appoint the superintendent of education.
Right.
And the fight I had in holding that bill up until we got at least a good definition for a person for qualification to go in that position. Beforehand, it was just if you just had a bachelor's degree.
Right.
Now it requires a master's degree and a number of years in education. I would have preferred someone with a PhD, but of course that didn't become reality. But most important than all of that, it gave us an opportunity to really take a look at where we were in South Carolina. We're 45th in education. Our concern is how we move from being 45th to a better number than being at the bottom. And looking at places like New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and others who are doing a lot better than us. Of course, they put more money into their K through 12 than we actually do. And so we've got to go back and try to figure out how we do that if it becomes an appointment by the governor's office. Equity in economic development, where we recruit companies to come into South Carolina, where they physically locate. And those particular locations also help us develop infrastructure, roads, streets, water, drainage, better and cleaner environment for the community. We provide multi-million-dollar packages for these companies to come in. Even the lack of transportation to get people to and from those jobs is so important. And so we have to realign our thinking with that and looking at also where we can begin to get a trained workforce. We're not going to do that when we look at some schools in South Carolina who don't have the basic teachers for STEM, for science and math, and those kind of programs.
Sure.
So we got to relook at South Carolina again to see exactly what we can do to make those kinds of improvement. Up until about 4 years ago, diversity among colleges and universities wasn't even being talked about. Became a major issue for me, and just about, I think every public college in the state has a diversity officer. Diversity is not just about black and white, it's about having an environment because of the different cultures we have in South Carolina, folk coming from all across this world, that these universities and colleges begin to look like the places our young people are going to eventually leave and go in the workplace. And we'll look at faculty and staff and equity in terms of pay at these colleges and universities. I'm watching on the athletic side, they're growing larger than African Americans, but on the academic side, they're not. And so that's just not an acceptable practice. When we look at kids being able to read and crossing over the aisle, of course, and supporting Read to Succeed. But we got to make sure that funds go back into after-school programs that are already there. Some communities have transformation organization. I just left one. Miss Snipes Williams. Beautiful program who's trying to do something in the Charleston area. There's another one over in Rock Hill. The Amy Zion Church has one. Those programs become very important as we look at the social service programs we have and get them to begin to work and to partner with those grassroots organizations who have their hands directly on these individuals. As we look at the shift in dollars, because now the grading system in South Carolina has changed, especially those kids who are eligible now to go to college, and to make sure that funding is made available, especially for the most needy kids in South Carolina. There's a lot of things we got to do if we're going to begin to eliminate poverty in South Carolina. Back in the mid-'70s, I was in the governor's office, and I can tell you, poverty was then, and a lot of poverty is still now. This last recession did not help us very much at all. We cannot continue to have two different South Carolinas. One that's doing well, and one that's doing just poorly. We've got to figure out how we take these same resources, provide some opportunities, train some people, recruit some companies to come into some of these communities, and give people a chance in life. Teacher pay. This year we moved teacher pay from $30,000 a year, beginning teachers, to $32,000. That's still not acceptable. When I sit in a room with the #1 kids of the Boys and Girls Club, and I entertain them every year when they come over to the General Assembly, and allow them to go through the process and how things work and give them a feel for that. But when I ask the question in the room to some of my best and brightest kids, how many of you are interested in being school teachers? And not one hand go up. When I talk to other colleges and universities, especially HBCUs, like South Carolina State, Voorhees College, Benedict College, and you ask those questions, and hands are not going up to want to teach. So what does it say? These schools cannot run by themselves. We've got to have good quality teachers, and we've got to pay them. That's important. Well, Marguerite is concerned about those issues. As we watch these large hospitals buy up the smaller hospitals, and then we watch health centers in these communities leave, and then we watch the nearest hospital taking all the Medicaid patients, putting a lot of pressure and economic concerns on those hospitals. We got to figure this out. And his major concern is what's going to happen if Washington decides to make some adjustment in Medicaid. That's a major concern. We're $20 to $20 trillion in the hole. I would say to those in Washington, you need to take care of Washington's issues and let Marguerite and I take care of South Carolina issues. We know what's best for South Carolina. We're here every day working in the trenches, and we'd appreciate the opportunity to be able to fix those kinds of issues. When you look at the deficit of $20 trillion plus the other $1.5 trillion that the president has added, gives me great concern. 14% is roughly Medicare. 9% is Medicaid. 24% is Social Security. That says we're getting older, and most of the Medicaid goes to children and goes to seniors for being able to take care of them if we have to put them in health facilities. 17% is for the military. We can't afford to go into another war until we solve some of our problems. 15% for infrastructure, the other 21% for other social programs. That's a great concern. What happens if Washington began to move the cost of every 27 cents we put toward $1, brings $1 in for Medicaid dollars? If those numbers change, where will the new money come from? If we do Medicaid expansion, we first need to take a look at, if the voters vote to do that, what will happen if we got to pay also the additional costs? We should have taken Medicaid expansion in a long time ago. This money would have had a chance to move and create some growth in the healthcare industry in the state. We're going to be looking at some of the larger hospitals, which will have to serve these rural communities. In the medical university here probably end up being the medical center for everything from Charleston back to 95. With Orangeburg region being next, and then of course you got Palmetto Richland, and they're expanding, already taken in the Sumter Hospital, and getting ready to merge, of course, with the Greenville Hospital. So you may end up in your Anderson Med up in the upstate. So you may end up with 5 or 6 major hospitals. What are we going to do? The shift as it relates to the cost of healthcare services. We don't have a unified healthcare system like they do in London and Europe and some of the European countries. We have a system, you pay for the quality of services based on your income and your ability to pay. And when you get to families who can't afford to pay, it simply means that we've got a community that's sick and where there's no way to help them to get well. If you're not well, you can't work. If you can't work, you can't provide for your family. If you can't provide for your family, you're going to be in poverty. And that's just the world. And so those are some of the things that Marguerite Willis and I are concerned about. We ask for your support, and we ask that you vote on June the 12th for Marguerite Willis. As you are familiar, in 2014, we changed the law. The governor and the lieutenant governor runs on a unified ticket. I'm not on the ballot. Marguerite is on the ballot. After the primary, then I'll come on the ballot. And so we need you to vote for Marguerite Willis. Why? We're the best team. We look like America, black and white. We care about everybody, black, white, rich, poor, brown. We don't care. We just want to make South Carolina a lot healthier.
Boy, that was an interview. You answered all my questions.
Well, we'll make your job easy.
Thank you.
We'll make your job easy.
Senator John Scott, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.